Hello students and welcome to a new episode. This is episode 7 covering module 1 unit 2 in which we will be focusing on grammar. In today's episode, we will be revising the parts of speech. We will be focusing on the future simple tense and we will learn how to form WH questions. Let's start with the parts of speech. Do you remember from the previous episode, we said that we're going to focus on 4 main parts of speech. What are they? We have nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs. We said nouns are words that name things. Verbs are words that show an action. Adjectives describe nouns, and adverbs describe verbs. Let's look at this task that you can find in your workbook, page 11. It tells you to put the following words in their correct place in the table. So you have a noun, adverb, verb, and adjective. Let's look at the words. Novelist, document, significant, devotedly. Now where is the noun here? Excellent novelist, which means an author. What about the adverb? If I want to say, let's take this sentence for example. The woman looked after her ill husband devotedly. So she looked after. We're describing the verb here. Devotedly. Good job. What about the verb? To document. Excellent. When you are noting down something or recording something. And finally, the adjective, we have significant. Good job. Let's start with the future simple tense. Now, what is the future simple tense and when do we use the future simple? So, we use the future simple in several instances. We use the future simple to say that something will happen in the future. For example, robots will help us everywhere in the future. Let's take another example. The president will give a speech tonight. So we use it to say that something will happen in the future. We also use the future simple to make promises if we want to promise someone. For example, I will meet you at 7 p.m. I promise. And I will invite you to the party. Again, you made a promise here. We also use the future simple to request help or to offer help for someone. For example, will you please help me with my homework? I'm asking for help here. Another example would be, I will help you with your project. Don't worry. So you're offering help here. And we also use the future simple to predict future events. Focus on predict here. You are not 100% sure. It's not certain. You are predicting a future event. For example, I think it will rain next week. So you're not sure yet. You think it will rain next week. You are predicting a future event. How do we form the future simple? Let's look at the formation. You start with the subject, followed by will, and then the verb infinitive form of the verb. For example, I will travel tomorrow. Now, let's put the words in brackets in their correct form. Number 1, I play tennis tomorrow. What do I add here? Excellent, I will play tennis tomorrow. Number 2, it's dark, I switch on the light. What will you do? I will switch on the light. Number 3, we finish the homework in an hour. So you will finish your homework in an hour. So the sentence will be, we will finish our homework. Now, if I want to write a negative sentence using the future simple, I start with the subject, followed by will not, followed by the verb infinitive. Will not shortened won't. We will not or won't go shopping. So do not forget won't in this case. You add it before the verb infinitive. Let's change the following sentences into negative. Remember, we added something to will. What did we add? Not. So we will have won't. My brother will visit me tonight. How can I change it into negative? My brother won't visit me tonight. Number 2, Ahmed will buy a new car soon. Let's change it into negative. What will I add? Not. Excellent. And I will have won't. Ahmed won't buy a new car soon. Number 3, they will have dinner at the restaurant. The negative sentence would be, they won't have dinner at the restaurant. Good job. Now we want to form a question using the future simple. What do? We start with will, followed by the subject, followed by the verb infinitive. For example, will you go shopping? Let's look at an example. Form a question on the following sentences. The family will have lunch in the garden. What am I going to start with? The question word, where? Helping verb, will the family have lunch? After the helping verb, we have the subject, which is the family, and have our main verb here. Let's ask questions about the following sentences. Number 1, we will go to France next summer holiday. How can I start my question here? When will you go to France? Again, question word, when, helping verb, will, you, the subject, and go, the main verb. Number 2, the weather will be windy tomorrow. I'm asking about the weather here. So, how will the weather be tomorrow? Number 3, I will walk on the beach with my friend. You're going to ask, what will you do on the beach? So we started with what, the question verb, followed by the helping verb will, followed by the subject, you, followed by the main verb do. Now, moving on to the second part of the future simple, we focused on how to use will when talking about future events. How do we use be going to when talking about future events? You use be going to for future plans, something that you planned already for the future, or prediction with evidence. Notice this difference? We said with will, you use it for prediction, but there is no evidence. But with be going to, you need to have evidence with your prediction. Let's look at the examples here. So, you start with your subject. I am, she, he, it is, we, they, you are, going to. So that's fixed in the middle. And then you add your verb infinitive. For example, I am going to join a club. So make sure you look at this table, which are the basic forms of verb to be. So we know that I takes am, you, we, they take are, he, she, and it take is. Now, let's look at this example. It's cloudy now. I think it's going to rain. Why did we use going to? It's a prediction, but why did we use going to? Because there is evidence. We have evidence. Well, the sky is cloudy, so I think it's going to rain. I'm really tired. I'm going to fall asleep quickly. Again, we used going to and not will because there is evidence. You're feeling tired, so what's going to happen? You're going to fall asleep quickly. Now, let's look at positive and negative sentences. Let's take this example. They are going to travel to Paris next summer. What if I want to write a negative sentence? There is something that I add to the sentence. For example, she is not or isn't going to study in her old school. I added not after verb to be in order to get a negative sentence. What if we want to form a question using be going to plus infinitive? That's how we will do it. You will start with question words, either what, when, why, where, or how, followed by the helping verb, am, is, are, followed by the pronouns I, you, he, she, it, we, or they, and followed by going to plus the infinitive. Let's take an example. She is going to study chemistry next year. Let's ask a question here. What is she going to study next year? So again, we started with the question word, which is what, followed by verb to be, is, followed by the pronoun she, and followed by going to, and finally our infinitive, which is study. Now, when it comes to studying the future simple, there are some keywords that you need to keep in mind that could help you identify a future simple sentence. These keywords are tomorrow, next, later, tonight, in the future. Whenever you see any of these keywords, you will automatically know that it is a future simple sentence. Now, let's complete this task. You can find this task in your student book, page 23. It tells you to choose the correct answers. Let's read it together. Our teacher has decided to take us to the school library next Monday. We are going to have, will have, or have a lesson there. What's the answer? Excellent. Are going to have, because our teacher has planned this event already. I think we will enjoy, are enjoying, are going to enjoy it. There's a prediction here. You're not 100% certain, so I will enjoy it. Excellent. Everyone will read, is going to read, or reads a different book and write a review of it. What's the answer? Is going to read. Excellent. I hope I am finding, I'm going to find, or will find something about science fiction, my favorite subject. So again, you're not 100% certain, you're hoping. So, I will find something about science fiction. Probably the teacher chooses, will choose, is going to choose the best review and publish it in the school magazine. Again, you're not certain, so the teacher will choose. Excellent. Let's complete another task that you can find in your workbook, page 12. The task tells you to make sentences as in the example. Number 1, she can't stop the car. Something is going to happen. What is it? She is going to crash into the wall. Let's complete the rest of the questions in the same format. Number 2, they are late. What is going to happen? They are going to miss the class. Excellent. Number 3, Fahad has got his camera. What is he going to do? Fahad is going to take photos. Good job. Number 4, Muhammad's putting up a for sale sign. He's going to sell his bike. So the answer will be, he is going to sell his bike. Good job. And finally, Mom's looking at a recipe. She is going to make a cake. Well done. Moving on to the last part of today's episode, which is the WH questions. We would like to understand how to form a WH question. Do you remember? Let's recall together. Now, how is a WH question formed? You start with a question word, either what, when, why, where, or how, followed by the helping verb am, is, are, do, does, or did, followed by a pronoun I, he, she, it, we, you, they, and finally the main verb. Let's take this example. Thomas Edison invented the light bulb. Let's form a question on this sentence. We start with the question word what, followed by helping verb did. Thomas Edison, noun, invent, the main verb. Let's take another example here. Kuwait lies on the Arabian Gulf. How can I form a question here? I will start with what? The question word. Excellent. So where, because I'm talking about a place here. Where does our helping verb, Kuwait, noun, lie, the main verb? Let's apply what we just understood and put it into practice. You can find this task in your student book, page 24. You are required to form questions to the sentences below. Let's look at number 1. Our English teacher gave us an assignment for the weekend. I want to ask a question here. Again, what do I start with? The question word. Excellent. So, what did your English teacher give you for the weekend? Number 2, the taxi driver drives his car carefully. So, how does he drive his car? How does the taxi driver drive his car? Good job. Episode summary. In this episode, we revised the basic parts of speech. We practiced using the future simple, its form, forming negative sentences and asking questions. And we revised how to form WH questions. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to catch up on the next episode.